So it's taken me 2 bouts of depression to figure out why I was depressed in the first place and what I can actually do about it. Number one is understand everything that's ever happened to you. One of the biggest things that I ever found was the problems I was coming across in the present day. I couldn't understand why I felt like it. So I would always put it down to either the current situation that's happening, or I would blame someone else. I would never really stop to think, why do I actually feel like this? It wasn't until went through my second bout of depression, and I was just got in a brand new relationship, and I was like, why am I still feeling the same insecurities? Why do I still have the same trust issues? Why am I so afraid that she's going to leave me again? And that to me was when I had to start to actually realize all of the things that had ever happened to me. That was the best time where I basically went down and I wrote a list of everything that had ever happened to me in my life. I went person by person, and I basically just was like, what could they have done throughout my whole entire life that comes to mind? If there's a memory that comes to mind, I'm going to write it down that could possibly affect my current situation today. I realized that the more I understood the past, the easier it was for me to understand what was happening in the present isn't actually because of the current situation that's going on. It's because I've got pre-programmed responses from the patterns that have happened in my life and things and events that have happened in my life that make me feel and act a certain way today. So that's the thing that I needed to change, basically, or to understand, is that it's not what's currently happening, it is what's happened in the past. And this is just another version showing you of the similar events, kind of like a trauma response of now X happens, so you respond with Y. And that was all it was it's automatic responses, and it's not actually how I wanted to respond. So understanding that helped me to realize that I'm not actually going to be depressed forever, and this isn't me. I can actually change who I am, and I have control over who I am because I understand what has happened to me in the past. So it was easy then to understand, I am the way I am because of normal events, not because I'm some strange person or everything's against me. And that relieves some of the pressure on myself and some of that bad feelings, because I could start to pinpoint and understand where they came from. Basically, you just need to make sure you understand everything that has ever happened to you. And I, again, went person by person, wrote everything down, so I could really get a grip of what has happened and why do I feel the way I do in the present moment. Number 2 is find a purpose and a goal. So for me, it's always, if you don't have a direction, then you've got nothing to run towards. And if you think depression is linked days of low mood, it is linked days of feeling down, and that over a prolonged period of time will mean that you get diagnosed with depression. So that, to me, the reason why you need something to aim at is because you get positive emotion by knowledge that you're moving towards a meaningful goal. That's a Jordan Peterson quote. And the reason that's really interesting and good to know is that if I have a meaningful goal and I move closer towards that, I get positive emotion. Positive emotion, the opposite, is negative emotion. And negative emotion over a long period of time is depression. So you have a goal and you move towards it. It sounds simple, but I guess the key here is, because nothing in life is meaningful, nothing has any inherent meaning, we apply that meaning. The goal you pick and the purpose you decide to go after has to be specific to you and what you want and the goals that you have. So for me, pick something which is right for you, not necessarily right from other people's standpoint of what other people think you should do. Pick something which is literally right for you. And that's what I did. I decided that I'm going to go into fitness, and I'm going to go and try and improve people's mental health through fitness. That was the first thought in my brain. Because ultimately I thought to myself, I cannot, in my old job as an electrician, I can't change the world fitting CCTV cameras. That's not going to change the world. So to me, I was like, why do I want to change the world so much? And it's because I wanted to relieve the pain that I've been in my whole life. So by giving myself a purpose to chase towards, yes, I've had negative emotion along the way, because every single time I move closer towards that goal and something goes wrong, I get a negative emotion come in. But I'm going to move towards that goal as hard as I can, and every time I get closer, I get positive emotion, and that gives me something to go towards. That gives me a higher purpose goal, that gives me something to chase, okay? At the same time, understanding who I didn't want to be and understanding what I didn't want is also going to help me, because now I have a force pulling me towards something, and I have a force behind me pushing me away from the person I didn't want to be and the life that I didn't want. So understanding that I need a purpose, and I also need to understand who the hell I don't want to be, will allow me to drive further towards a goal and will stop me from being in this low mood and constant state of depression by giving me the positive emotion when I move towards those goals. Number 3, now coming off of the second point, it's add something to the world. I think this comes down to finding a way to be useful. The reason you need to find a way to be useful is because one of the common things that come out when you talk to people with depression is they don't feel like they should be here, because they don't feel like they have a purpose, and they don't feel like life has any meaning. They don't feel like they are actually worth anything, and they don't feel like they can actually do anything. So again, if you can find something to add to the world, that's just going to give you and put you in such a better position. The way I think about this is, if you can't find a purpose, and because they add to each other, if you can't find a purpose, you need to start by thinking of what you can do to be useful. And what you can do to be useful a lot of the time is solve problems, but a lot of the time is also to help people. So to help people, you can teach. So you can teach people how to do things, whether that's like teaching an apprentice within your current role, whether that's training someone up, whether that's like going into academia, or you can volunteer. So you can volunteer like for charities and things like that, because that gives people a huge sense of purpose, because you're actually giving back to the community, and that means that you are now not worthless. The point of your life is this. And I think that's really important when, like, if we don't have any internal drive or any internal validation of who we are, it means that we need to get that from external places. And we get that from external places by thinking of a goal and picking something that we can move towards that's going to help other people. Because then if we can't be useful to ourselves and we can't be good for ourselves, we can be good and useful for other people. You also need to like help people or just produce something. So again, the 4 ways that I think about trying to like add something to the world is: you need to either teach, you need to volunteer, you need to help, or you need to produce. Number 4 is, now this one's like quite an interesting one, but it's change your environment, or change your micro environment more than anything. Micro environment, because I think the things that are around us are the most important things when it comes to our mental health, because there's like loads of times where people with mental health end up in a weird situation where everyone around them also have mental health problems, and then no one can help each other, and then it just becomes this big old mess. And I think that's purely because when you're surrounded by negativity and when you're in this place when you've got low mood, your resilience to negativity and to problems, you're very low. You don't have that much resilience at this current state. And I know this because I've gone through it. And anytime someone was feeling down or whatever, that would just pull me down. Like, I would literally be driving to work and I'd be listening to a song on the radio, the person would be like singing about tough something is in their life, and I'd start getting like upset, and then that would ruin the rest of my day. And it was purely because like everything that I could see in other people, I could see in myself. And all of the negativity and all of the hurt and pain and all of the like self-doubt and all of the like self-hate that was going on in other people, I could just see in myself, which meant that it was really difficult to get myself out of that place if my microenvironment wasn't good. So I needed to pull myself away from like the things that were really affecting me and getting me down. And the easiest way to think about this is, if there's someone that's been on your mind today that shouldn't have been on your mind, or you think about them in a negative way, or you're driving home and you think, I don't want to go in there, or you're driving to work and you're thinking that person, then you either need to address the situation with that person to improve your microenvironment, or you need to pull yourself away from that microenvironment. Because a lot of the time it is basically due to where we are in our life physically and the things that have happened to us in like any trauma events that have happened to us recently, from like partners going through any issues with work, or any like illnesses, or any family members passing away. Like any of these traumas add to this micro environment that I talk about. And then if you think friends and family you need to change if they're affecting you on a day-to-day basis, if you're thinking about it and they're getting you down, same as work, you need to figure out, is it the people within work? Is there something I can do about it? Is it something I've got to just stomach? Can I move on? Is there a difficult conversation I need to have? Those are the things you need to be thinking about, like when changing your microenvironment. And then alternatively, you can always obviously like move out of your like town you're in. You can move cities. I mean, you could even move countries. Australia is something that a lot of people do from UK when they don't know what to do. So go there would be a great option. And then number 5 is don't hyper focus on one aspect of your life. What I mean by this is the Tyson Fury effect. The Tyson Fury effect of winning the heavyweight championship, the thing he's always wanted to do, and then he gets depressed and does a boatload of cocaine. The reason that happens is because he hyper-focused on achieving one thing, and he then made his whole life around one thing. That is what will cause depression, because as soon as you achieve that thing, as soon as these people achieve this massive goal they're aiming for and you pull it out from under them, they've got nothing. Same as people who stop work, who like do anything passionately for a while and then stop that thing. The point of their life was that thing, and now it's no longer the point of their life. They don't know what to do, so they have to change something, and they become depressed. And I think this happened to me when my partner, who I was with like throughout the whole of school, just decided we're going to break up now, and my whole life was my partner. I didn't have anything else going on. So try and make sure that there are different aspects of your life which are equally as important, or at least make up your whole life, and that one aspect of them isn't just your whole life, i.e. that there's something in work that is really important to you. You have a personal goal which is really important to you, your family, your financial goals, you could have your academia goals. There's these different areas of life, your society, like the greater society. Like, make sure that there are points within this that you have some kind of focus within, because that means then you're not hyper focused on one thing. You're probably a better, well-rounded human by doing that thing, and all aspects of life taken into consideration means that you don't hyper focus, and then when that thing either doesn't happen, or it doesn't go the way you want it to, or you achieve it and then it finishes, that you don't become depressed. Because that is one thing that I've always found, is that hyper-focusing on one aspect of my life, one area of my life, and neglecting all the others, not only makes my life shit because I'm neglecting everything else, but because when that thing doesn't go right, or when anything goes wrong, or when I don't achieve it, or even if I do achieve it, it's just never as good. But those are the 5 ways. Just to recap: understand everything that has ever happened to you, find a purpose and a goal, add something to the world, change your microenvironment, and don't hyper-focus. My name's Charlie. This is Hack the Body, Hack the Mind. It's just me. I aim to help improve people's mental health and improve their fitness. The two go hand in hand, in my opinion. If you can, share this with a friend who may be struggling with their purpose, maybe struggling with feeling low, feeling depressed. Send this to them, because these are the things that have really helped me to understand and to move forward and to get out of my depressive slumps, and hopefully that will help them or help you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.